Yo, what is up, guys? It is Nick, or the Notorious Fantasy, back again today with another fantasy football video. Today's video is Week 7 wide receiver rankings. I go through wide receiver 1 through 32 in this video. This video is primarily based on PPR rankings. Obviously, in standard, it would deviate slightly, so leave down below a question. Any questions you guys got, I'll make sure to answer them. Before I get in the video, I'd like to give you guys a word from my sponsor, OverlayDFS.com. Are you tired of having to pick the perfect player at every single position in order to win salary cap DFS? Are you tired of having your salary cap lineup out of the running to win the money in the first 5 minutes of the games? Does playing salary DFS feel like a job and not even a game? Well, I have the solution for you guys right here. OverlayDFS.com has a new revolutionary start-sit game for fantasy sports. They're home of the single entry GPP, and it's so simple, guys. I'm playing this every single week. All you got to do is you look at the matchups on your screen here. There's a bunch of them, and you just pick which players. You're going to have to pick 12 players as well as 3 alternates. Who do you think is going to do better than another person? So, do you think Daniel Jones is going to be better than Teddy Bridgewater? It is that simple, guys. That is literally all you have to do. And there's pretty much entries at every single level. This is the $2.50 one. There's $22 ones. There's even $100 ones if you are rolling in the big bucks like that. See, if you go 12 and 0 in this, 12 and 0 record gets you $2,972. So you're making way more money than the $2.50 you put in. And if you finish in the top 10% of people, you get $18, and it goes up obviously depending on which type of game you're playing in based upon how much you put into the game. So it's very simple. I play on it pretty much every single week. So say in week 4, if you were playing in the 12, if you went 12 and 0 in the $109 game, you'll win a progressive bonus of over $26,000. The object is pretty much just to stay consistent, and you get, if you finish in the top 10% of the field, you win 9 times your buy-in until you get that beautiful 12 and 0 and win that huge progressive bonus. So make sure that you guys check this out. It's super easy. I planned it every single week. I've been doing pretty good, but I think you guys may honestly be smarter than me and may be able to do better. So come play with me. Come check it out. OverlayDFS.com. Check it out. Link below down in the description. And we are back, Week 7 wideout rankings. Now on this page is 1 through 12. Now my number 1 wide receiver this week is Cooper Kupp going up against the Atlanta Falcons. Now I know a lot of people are hating. Cooper Kupp did not perform last week against the 49ers, but he goes to get from playing against a really tough defense in the 49ers to playing the Atlanta Falcons Pee-wee defense. The Atlanta Falcons defense can't stop anyone. Cooper Kupp and Jared Goff are in for a humongous bounce back this week against the Atlanta Falcons in the Atlanta Stadium, whatever that shit's called, the Mercedes-Benz Dome, the dome that looks like someone's asshole up in the sky. That's all I'm saying is Cooper Kupp is in for a huge matchup this week. I really do think Sean McVay figures that shit out, injects all of his brain power straight into Jared Goff's head so he knows to check down to Cooper Kupp about 9,000 times. My number 2 wideout this week is Julio Jones going up against the LA Rams. Given if Jalen Ramsey is playing in this game, if Jalen Ramsey is covering Julio Jones, then you want to sit Julio Jones and make him ride the pine this week. You don't want anything to do with Julio Jones because he's going to get his ass shut down. So I think that Julio Jones, if Jalen Ramsey doesn't play, will be a top 5 guy, my number 2 guy. But if Jalen Ramsey plays, I'm very nervous about Julio Jones this week. At number 3, we have Michael Thomas going up against the Chicago Bears. Now, I know the Chicago Bears are quite the scary matchup, but we've seen the past 2 weeks, Teddy Roosevelt, Teddy Bridgewater loves throwing the ball to Mr. Michael Thomas. He found a safety valve, and that's Michael Thomas. And Michael Thomas is going to have a good game, even against a tougher Bears defense. The Bears defense has already started to fall apart. Some members of the defense has begun to get hurt, but I still think that Michael Thomas in this game will be in for a big matchup here against the Bears. Number 4, I have Mr. Tyler Lockett going against the Baltimore Ravens. Now, Tyler Lockett we saw 2 weeks ago against the Seattle Seahawks, making an amazing against the Rams, make a phenomenal catch. I think this week, Tyler Lockett is just an every week top 10 guy, at least in my opinion in PPR. You know he's a guy that Russell Wilson may throw the ball to 10 plus times. And against the Baltimore Ravens, it is going to be a high scoring matchup. At least in my projections, I see this to be a high scoring, heavyweight bout between the Ravens and the Steelers. I think that at the end of the day, Tyler Lockett is going to get the ball thrown to him enough, and he gets the looks in the end zone to make him a certified top 5 pick for this week. At number 5, we have Julian Edelman. Now, Julian Edelman has not been performing all that amazing, but Josh Gordon likely not in this game. Philip Dorsett potentially banged up, potentially not going to be seeing either two of the three best wide receivers. So it's going to be the Julian Edelman show in New York. Mono Boy Sam is going to be in for quite the game to try to come back on the Monday night game. I think Julian Edelman is going to get ahead early. I think he's going to be getting targeted by Tom early, and by the end of the first half, he may have 20 points, and then he just rides the pine the rest of the game because they're not going to need to throw the ball. At number 6, we have Keenan Allen going up against the Tennessee Titans. Now, Keenan Allen has been a disappointment the last couple of weeks in fantasy football. Obviously, last week, it was the Hunter Henry show at night against the Steelers. We saw that in the second half, but I think this game is a lot closer of a game. The Tennessee Titans are starting Ryan Tannehill. Ryan Tanny God, as I like to call him. He has sucked the past couple of years for the Dolphins. Now, do I think he's better than Marcus Mariota? Maybe. Am I worried that he's going to be throwing some picks? Probably. So I think Keenan Allen will have a lot of time to throw or to obviously be on the offense and catch the ball. He doesn't throw the ball. He's not like DeAndre Hopkins who just throws picks all the time. But Keenan Allen should be in for a pretty good matchup this week against the Titans. Obviously, the Titans defense is good, but I would definitely not be too scared about Keenan Allen this week. At number 7, we have T.Y. Hilton, the return of Mr. Indianapolis Colts T.Y. Hilton, going up against the Houston Texans. This is obviously an in-division matchup. I think this is going to be a high-scoring game. I don't think that the Colts are just going to be able to hammer the ball a million times with Marlon Mack in this matchup. Obviously, with T.Y. Hilton coming back and returning, I think they're going to be more likely to try to air the ball out. And why not air it out to Mr. T.Y. Hilton? At number 8, we have Adam Thielen going up against the Detroit Lions. We saw last week Green Bay able to perform, their wide receivers were performing against the Lions before Mr. Matt Patricia decided to headhunt and kill two of them. But in this game, I think without a doubt, Adam Thielen is the safest option for the Vikings aside from Dalvin Cook. I think Adam Thielen might not be scoring 3 touchdowns like we saw Stephon Diggs last week, but he's always getting or in contention to score that touchdown every single week. He's clearly Kirk Cousins' favorite target the whole season. Kirk Cousins clearly loves targeting Mr. Adam Thielen in the middle of the field. I think Adam Thielen is in for a pretty big game this week against the Detroit Lions. At number 9, we have DeAndre Hopkins against the Indianapolis Colts. Now, typically D-Hop is a top 5 ranked guy in my rankings, but he has just not been performing. He has not been playing up to his expectations. And you want to know what that does for me? That makes him go from a guy that I think could be top 5 this week against the Colts, and I throw his ass at number 9. He could perform. He could be the number 1 wideout this week, but his past has shown nothing but regression this year. Besides the first game, you don't want anything to do with DeAndre Hopkins. Well, I think this is a bounce-back game, and I would find it disrespectful to rank him outside of the top 10. That's why he's number 9, but I think he could be in for a good matchup this week. We're going to hope he breaks the curse. We're going to hope that he frees himself from whatever Bill O'Brien type of curse has on him. And I think DeAndre Hopkins should be fine in this game against the Colts. At number 10, we have Brandon Cooks, wide receiver of the LA Rams. I almost called them the St. Louis Rams, going up against the Atlanta Falcons. Now, I do believe this is going to be a high-scoring game, like I said, for Cooper Kupp, and that's why I have Brandon Cooks at 10. I think Brandon Cooks is obviously his second favorite target, Jared Goff. He likes Cooper Kupp, then he likes Brandon Cooks, and then at number 11, he likes Robert Woods as his third favorite option. Robert Woods obviously actually performed the best out of all 3 of those wideouts last week, having that rushing touchdown. Now, I do think Robert Woods should be pretty great this week and be pretty fine and have quite the bounce back after this season has not been, obviously, he has not been playing up to his expectations. At number 12, we have Kenny Golladay going up against the Minnesota Vikings. We saw it last week. We saw Kenny Golladay be able to catch anything. He's like Odell. He fucking has some, glue on his hands. He's catching everything, diving all across the field. It is clear that Matt Stafford loves Kenny Golladay more than Marvin Jones. It is very clear that he loves to target Kenny Golladay. At the beginning of the year, I thought it was a potential 1A, 1B situation. No, Kenny Golladay is the clear number 1 on the Detroit Lions. And I think against the Minnesota Vikings, you can throw the ball a decent amount. I think Matt Stafford's going to key on his favorite wide receiver, Kenny Golladay, and that is why Kenny Golladay is ranked number 12 in my rankings. At number 13 through 24 right here. At number 13, we have my main man, Baby Chark, DJ Chark going up against the Cincinnati Bengals. Now, this is a premier matchup, a pristine matchup for Mr. DJ Chark this week going up against the Cincinnati Bengals. The Cincinnati Bengals defense is hot garbage. DJ Chark last week disappointed against the Saints. This week, he's going to blow the Saints out of the water. It's going to be a Charknado over there in Cincinnati. At number 14, we have Mr. Michael Gallup going up against the Philadelphia Eagles. Now, Amari Cooper is likely going to be out. Michael Gallup is likely going to be looking for some blood. Dak Prescott is clearly going to target Michael Gallup about 1,000 times in this game. This is obviously a rivalry game between the Eagles and the Cowboys. I think Michael Gallup goes after it, gets the ball, sees potentially 10 targets in this game, and potentially finds that end zone. I really do like Michael Gallup this week. Knock one time if you're with me. At number 15, we have Larry Fitz, the old fucking man, going up against the New York Football Giants. Now, what I know about this matchup is in my head, I've got it to be a higher scoring matchup. I think Larry Fitzgerald is clearly Kyler's favorite target while Christian Kirk is out. Will Christian Kirk play? Who knows as I'm recording this? I'm not sure if he's going to play. Obviously, if he's out, Larry Fitzgerald is even better of a start this week against the Giants. At number 16, we have Mr. Scary Terry going up against the San Francisco 49ers, Terry McLaurin. A lot of people are nervous. A lot of people are saying, Nick, why do you have Terry McLaurin ranked so high? Nick, why do you think Terry McLaurin will be fine against the San Francisco 49ers? You want to know why? Because Terry McLaurin is matchup proof. There's no one corner on the San Francisco 49ers that can clasp and hold on to Terry McLaurin. Terry McLaurin is going to make them hold his jockstrap. He is going to go in against the San Francisco 49ers this week, and you can quote that. He played great against the Bears. He's going to play great against the 49ers. A lot of people are too worried about this matchup, but I say you are a pussy if you're scared of this matchup. I like Terry McLaurin this week. At number 17, we have Tyler Boyd going against the Jacksonville Jaguars, and Tyler Boyd has been quite the disappointment last week, I should say. He really did not produce all that well, but I think this week against the Jacksonville Jaguars, he's in for more of a bounce back type game. This is a game where Andy Dalton will be able to score. There may be a higher scoring type of matchup, and I think Andy Dalton and Tyler Boyd are going to get that connection back, and Tyler, Boyd, is going to put up a big game this Sunday. At number 18, coming in at number 18, we have John Brown going up against the Miami Dolphins. Now, right now, I'm not sure if he's going to play, but what I do know is if he plays, he is going to absolutely eviscerate the Miami Dolphins defense. The Miami Dolphins defense couldn't hold Terry McLaurin last week. John Brown may not be as good as Terry McLaurin, but it doesn't fucking matter. John Brown is going to have a monster game this week against the Miami Dolphins. At number 19, we have Mr. Alshon Jeffrey coming in against the Dallas Cowboys. And like I said, this is going to be a high-scoring matchup, a premier matchup for Mr. Michael Gallup and Alshon Jeffrey. I like Alshon this week. He's been performing pretty well after coming back off that injury, so I like him this week against Dallas. At number 20, we have Will Fuller going up against the Indianapolis Colts. Now, last week, Will Fuller dropped about 9,000 touchdowns. Deshaun Watson was not able to find him correctly. The ball was just not going to him correctly, or maybe Will Fuller just has feet for fucking hands. But what I do know, against the Colts, he's in for a more bounce-back game this week. At number 21, we have the 3-touchdown man, Mr. Stephon Diggs, going up against the Detroit Lions. Now, what I do know is Stephon Diggs ain't scoring 3 touchdowns this week. But what I do know is Kirk Cousins still has some love left in his heart for Mr. Stephon Diggs, and Stephon Diggs will get the ball thrown his way, but I'm obviously subverting my expectations from last week. He's not going to score 3 touchdowns, but he's going to be okay this week, and that's why he's ranked number 21. At number 22, we have Mr. Golden Tate going up against the Arizona Cardinals. Now, Saquon Barkley likely in this game. Evan Ingram likely in this game, so that obviously takes away some points from Golden Tate, but it doesn't matter. Last week we saw Golden Tate absolutely eviscerate the New England Patriots defense. This week he is playing a much worse defense in the Arizona Cardinals, and I think he is going to have quite the monster game this week against the Arizona Cardinals. Now, at number 23, we have Golden Tate going against the Jacksonville Jaguars. Now, Golden Tate is just a super safe pick. That's why he's ranked number 23. He's always going to be getting those 10-plus points in a PPR format, so I just like him there. I like him as a wide receiver, too. He's going to sit at number 23 in my rankings. At number 24, we have Calvin Ridley going up against the LA Rams. The past 2 weeks, Calvin Ridley has been performing. Julio Jones has shit the bed the last couple of weeks and has not really been performing, but Calvin Ridley has come back. The return of the Mac, what it is, what it isn't type deal. Calvin Ridley is in for a pretty good matchup against the Rams, who can't really stop anyone. Now, what I do think is that if Jalen Ramsey plays, Calvin Ridley might be in for a monster game this week, but if Jalen Ramsey's out, I'm kind of a bit worried about Calvin Ridley. I'm a bit worried about the whole Falcons offense. I have them ranked highly because I know they can perform, but Dan Quinn is a grade A fucktard. At number 25, this is 25 through 32. If you've made it this far in this video, I would like to give you a fucking medal because I don't know how you listen to me for this long, but I'm just fucking kidding. Make sure you click that subscribe button down below. If you've made it this far in this video, make sure to leave a comment that says something beautiful as well. At number 25, we have Allen Robinson, A-Rob, going up against the New Leans Saints. What I do know is that Chase Daniel fucking sucks. But what I do know is Allen Robinson is good enough to play just fine against the Saints and put up an okay game. At number 26, we have Marvin Jones going up against the Minnesota Vikings. Now, I did talk about Matt Stafford and Kenny Galladay's love affair, but I still think that Marvin Jones last week was covered by the best corner that the Green Bay Packers had. He was being covered by the best corner. This week, I don't think the Vikings do that. I think the Vikings try to cover Kenny Galladay. I think Marvin Jones gets loose, gets a few more balls thrown his way, and performs against the Vikings. At number 27, we have DK Metcalf. Wham, 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 bitch, I'm a baby. You see he has that fucking pacifier in against the Ravens. He should be in for a pretty good matchup. I like DK Metcalf as a flex every single week, and that's why he's ranked back here at number 27. He always has that touchdown upside. At number 28, we have famous Jamison Crowder going up against the New England Patriots. Now, what I do know is the Patriots defense is good, but what I also know is that Mono Boy Sam loves targeting Jamison Crowder. Jamison Crowder is clearly his favorite target. We saw the first week the ball got thrown to him about 12,000 times. I think Jamison Crowder should be fine this week against New England in a PPR-type format. At number 29, we have Cole Beasley going up against the Miami Dolphins. Now, if John Brown is out, Cole Beasley, he skirts his way up to the top 25 type guy. Not top 25 type guy. Yeah, top 25 type player this week. If John Brown's out, Cole Beasley is going to be targeted a shit ton of times by Mr. Josh Allen. At number 30, we have MVS going up against the Oakland Raiders. Given MVS plays, it's likely going to be the MVS and Lazard show, however you pronounce that guy's name. Geronimo Allison likely out. Devontae Adams likely out. I think MVS should be in for a decent game here against the Raiders. At number 31, we have Mike Williams going up against the Tennessee Titans. Now, the Tennessee Titans defense does scare me when it comes to Mike Williams. Mike Williams has not been able to play healthy. I'm not even sure if he's going to be good to go in this bout on Sunday, but what I do know is that if he's in the game, he's an okay flex option. And at number 32, the final ranked wide receiver for this week, we have Roe Bay Anderson going up against the New England Patriots. Now, last week, Robbie Anderson scored the longest touchdown in the New York Football Jets history, and the first touchdown in a couple of weeks for the Jets. It seems like Robbie Anderson should be in for a premier matchup game. Not this week, though, but in a couple of weeks when he has some good matchups. This week, I think it's going to be a tough matchup against New England, but you can do a lot worse than Mr. Robbie A. So thank you guys all for watching this video. If at any point you ended up enjoying, make sure to click that subscribe button. Make sure you check out overlaydfs.com. Link down below in the description. Come play with me. We're going to have a great fucking time. We're going to have a great Sunday. I love each and every single one of you guys. Thank you guys so much for 2,500 subscribers. We're going to hit 3,000 soon, and then we're going to hit 1 fucking million eventually one of these days. I believe we can do it. A lot of people say that fantasy channels, you can't hit 1 million. We're going to hit a fucking million. So thank you all for watching. I love you all. Really means a lot. Goodbye, guys.